G'day guys, welcome to my RX Wise 50 video. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about NRL Round 5 predictions for 2020 guys. Let's get started. So to kick things off, we have the Eagles going up against the Broncos. Now, this game, I just don't think that Broncos are going to fire up in this game, because last time the Broncos played up against Manly obviously won that game, and like Daly Cherry Evans played obviously really well for that match. But what I can say about it, I reckon that this game's going to be a really good matchup. I think Tommy Trbojevic is going to score a try. I reckon Adam Fanua-Blake is going to score a try, and last but not least, I'm going to say Reuben Garrick is going to score a try, and I reckon these three players will definitely be a matchup, and I reckon they'll have a player of the day where I reckon it's going to be Daly Cherry Evans kicking for goals, and unless if they do, they'll probably get a field goal anyway, but I don't think that this game will probably be a field goal match up. But what I can say about it is the Seagulls are a really good team, and which I defy that Broncos need to win a match. I just don't see that this game is going to be very hard on them, because the Broncos need to fire up and obviously take some pressure onto the Manly Seagulls. But I'm going to go with the Manly Seagulls on this one, and I'm going to go with them by 14 points. I'm just going to say that I reckon that this match is not going to be a match for the Broncos. It's going to be a matchup for the Manly Seagulls, and I reckon that they are going to win by 14 points anyway. And I just think that Broncos need to really win this match. But if they do, I'll definitely be surprised and obviously see that the Broncos can obviously win the game of football. But I don't think that the Broncos are going to win, but Manly are going to win this game, and I reckon that Tom Trbojevic, Reuben Garrick, and Adam Fanua-Blake will have a really good game for this matchup anyway. So I'm going to go with the Manly Seagulls by 14 points anyway, and I reckon they'll win up against the Broncos anyway. The next game of this round, we see the Warriors going up against the Cowboys. Now, what I can say about this match is going to be really hard to see this game taking place in Central Coast Stadium. But what I can say about this game, I just don't see the Cowboys, taking this win. I reckon that this game is just going to be a really close game, but then I reckon the Warriors are just going to win by 2 tries by 12 points. And I reckon I'm going to go with the Warriors by 12 points, because this game is going to be a really cool matchup for them, because last time the Warriors played at Central Coast Stadium, they played up against the Dragons, and they also won that game. And I reckon that the Warriors will definitely win this game again up against the Cowboys. But if the Cowboys obviously win this game of football, I just don't think that the Warriors will obviously win that game. But I'm going to go with the Warriors. It's going to be on thin ice though. I just see that the Cowboys are just going to come back and obviously win this game of football, because this game is just going to prove themselves that they are a really cool matchup, like a really good game. But for the Warriors though, I just don't think that they'll obviously lose, but I'm going to go with them by 12 points, because Cody Nikorima is a really good player, but sometimes he can be really terrible. But then I just don't see Jermaine Tupuola-Brown obviously scoring a try. I reckon that he'll probably get a try assist or something like that, and then obviously I reckon Cody Nikorima will obviously score a try. But I reckon Patrick Herbert will obviously score a try also too. But I'm just going to say Warriors will have a really good game, and I'm going to go with them by 12 points for that definite anyway. Deficit or something like that. But yeah, what I can say about this game, I'm going to go with them, and I just don't think that the Cowboys will win this game of football anyway. The next game of this round, we see the Eels going up against the Panthers. Now, I reckon that this game is going to be a really good matchup. I think Nathan Cleary is coming back from, I reckon, either suspension or injury. But last time the Eels played up against Panthers, Panthers obviously won 16 points to 10, but that was obviously last year. I reckon that this game is going to prove to the Eels that they have to win up against the Panthers at their home ground, for the Eels' home ground. I think that this game is just going to prove themselves that they are a really good football team. They obviously had 4 straight wins, and the Panthers obviously had, I think, a couple losses and plus wins, but also draw also too. But what I can say about this game, I reckon that this game is going to prove themselves that are they going to win or are they going to lose. But I reckon that I'm going to go with the Eels by 10 points. I just don't think that they're going to win by a big margin. Since last time they defeated the Eels, I think that this game's going to be a really good matchup. I reckon this scoreline will be, say, 20 points to 10, and I reckon the Eels will obviously win this match by 10 points. So, what I can say about it is they've also got really good players such as Mike Osivo, Clint Gutherson, Dylan Brown, Blake Ferguson, Wanga Blake. Wanga Blake didn't really do well. Michael Jennings really didn't do well too. But for my 3 players that they obviously will score a try will be Ryan Madison, Reid Marnie, and Mitchell Moses. I reckon these 3 players will obviously score a try, and I reckon that this game will obviously prove themselves that they can win a game of football. For 4 straight wins, I reckon they'll have 5 straight wins. This game will prove themselves that they can obviously win this matchup by a lot of points. And what I reckon for the Panthers, though, I reckon they will have a couple of tries, but I just don't see them winning a game of football up against my Parramatta Eels anyway. But I'm going to go with them, my Eels, by 10 points, and I reckon that this game will be a very good game of football anyway. The next game of this round, we see the Rabbitohs going up against the Titans. Now, what I can say about it is the Rabbitohs are alright, but it's just because the Titans won up against the West Tigers, I just don't think that the Rabbitohs will lose this match. I reckon I'm going to go with the Rabbitohs though by 16 points. I reckon it's going to be a really firing up match, and I reckon that Titans won't win this game. Only because that this game is definitely going to prove themselves. Am I going to win or am I going to lose? But I reckon Rabbitohs will obviously win this game. I think that Rabbitohs will obviously take this home win for advantage. But who I think that 3 players are definitely going to score, my 3 players off the key, are going to be Dane Gagai, Alex Johnston, and Latrell Mitchell. I reckon these 3 players will obviously make a really good effort for the Rabbitohs. But for the Titans, though, I just don't see them winning a game of football up against the Rabbitohs, because the Rabbitohs are a really hard team to beat, but sometimes when the Rabbitohs don't do well, they do lose, and then they make no effort for that match. But I'm going to go with the Titans. No, I'm going to go with the Rabbitohs, sorry. And I reckon that they will fire up, and I reckon that this game will be a very good matchup, and I don't think that the Titans will obviously score any tries at all. I reckon that this game scoreline will obviously be, say, 24-0. And I reckon that this game won't be a very tied-up match. But yeah, I reckon that this game will be a very firing-up match, and I reckon the Titans won't do anything really to prove themselves they can be a really good football team anyway. The next game of this round, we see the Knights going up against the Storm. Now, what I can say about this match, it'll be very hard because you obviously got Brad McBest, But then you got, I think, not Marion Seve. I can't remember the player actually. But then you got like Josh Adokar, which he's really fast and he's so skillful. But I don't see the Melbourne Storm firing up in this match. But I'm going to go with the Melbourne Storm by 8 points. What I say is just Newcastle Knights, I reckon they'll fire up, and then I reckon that the Newcastle Knights will probably fire up in this match, but I don't think they will win this match. But really, what I can say about it is I reckon that this game will prove a lot of points for this game. But say, for instance though, about this match, what I can say about it is, for the Melbourne Storm, they obviously got really good high intensive players, but then they don't really improve themselves really well. Only because they obviously lost a couple of matches. They obviously lost a couple of matches, but then they need to improve themselves really well. But I'm going to go with the Melbourne Storm by 8 points. Hopefully they can win up against the Newcastle Knights, and I just think that they will win this game by 8 points, and I'm not too sure what the scoreline will be because it will be a hard decision to go by. And what I can say about it is I reckon that this game will be a really good matchup, so I'm going to go with the Melbourne Storm by 8 points anyway, and I reckon that this game will be a really good matchup of football, and really the Knights and the Storm will probably fire up together and make it a field goal anyway by each other if they can kick a field goal or something like that. But I reckon that this game will be a really good matchup anyway, and I'm going to go with the Storm by 8 points anyway. The next game of this round, we see the West Tigers going up against the Raiders. Now, these two sides are very hard to beat. West Tigers have a lot of great players, such as Joey Leilua from the Raiders, former Raiders, because he's going to verse up against his former Raiders club. And what I can say about it is Raiders have got a lot of great young players, such as Curtis Scott. Jordan Rapana is a really good player. He just comes up and just fires up, and when he gets the ball, he's obviously really dangerous and scores a lot of tries. But when he came back from the Union against, when he came back and obviously won this match by a lot of points, he is just a really good football player. But I'm going to go with the Raiders by 18 points, and it's just, what I can say about it is I reckon that the West Tigers will score a couple of tries, but I reckon that Raiders will come back and obviously win. But then I reckon first half West Tigers will obviously win, but then second half I reckon the Raiders will come back and obviously make a win by 3 tries or less, maybe whatever, I'm not too sure. But what I can say about it is I reckon that Curtis Scott, Chance Nickel-Klokstad and Jordan Rapana will obviously play a great game of football, but it's just how you want to defy that skill level of against the West Tigers, because the West Tigers have won a couple of matches, but they are a really good football team because they've proven themselves they can obviously win a match of football. But seeing Benji Marshall getting dropped and then Josh Reynolds coming in for that number 7 or number 6 jersey or something like that, it's just really terrible because Benji Marshall obviously kicked the field goal and then he gets dropped. How stupid is that? That's just really stupid. If I was a coach, I would have said Josh Reynolds can't obviously replace Benji Marshall. I would have just put him in, stayed him into that thing. But anyway, I'm going to go with the Raiders though by 18 points. I reckon that this game will prove themselves. They can obviously win a match up against the West Tigers anyway. The next game of this round, we see the Bulldogs going up against the Roosters. Now, what I can say about this match, I reckon that this game will really be a very firing up game, and Roosters will definitely win this match by 20 points. I reckon that this game will have 3 tries with them and then a penalty goal to make it 20 points to win by that margin. What I can say about it though, they got a lot of players and really good players. So Victor Radley going up against Adam Elliott. It's just, I reckon that Victor Radley is going to have a really good game. And what I can say about it is this game is going to improve themselves. They can obviously win a game of football. I'm going to say that Bulldogs were really good in that match. But I'm just going to say that it was really hard to pick between the Bulldogs and Roosters. Because Bulldogs are a really good team. But then you also got the Roosters where you got James Tedesco, Victor Radley, Mitch Orbison, Brett Morris, Josh Morris, all these really quality good players that just really stands out for their team. So what I can say about it is I reckon that this game will definitely prove themselves really well for the Roosters, but then Bulldogs, I just don't see of them winning this game. Only because they are a really good football team, but going up against Roosters, the Roosters are a very hard team to beat, and then they do lose a couple of matches, but up against Bulldogs, I reckon they'll win this game by 20 points. What I can say about it is, I reckon that Bulldogs will just be sloppy, but then they'll score a couple of tries, but then I reckon Roosters will come back and obviously win that game anyway by 20 points. But what I can say about it is, I reckon the Roosters will win by 20 points, and I reckon that this game will be a really good matchup of football anyway. Last but certainly not least, Dragons going up against the Sharks. Now, what I can say about this match, Sharks are a really good team. I think that Chan Townsend maybe be back for that match. Josh Dugan is just terrible, and sometimes he's alright, but I just don't see him play really well. But what I can say about this game, I'm just going to say that this matchup will be a really good match, and I just think that this game will be a really boring match because the Dragons have lost 4 losses in a row, 4 games in a row, but they need to win. It's just, I was going to pick the Dragons, but I don't see them winning because they are on a lot of pressure with their salary cap and obviously their players. But Paul McGregor, being into that squad, he's going to have a lot of pressure going onto his squad. But then what I can say about it is he needs to uplift this game and then obviously really reconnect with their players and obviously train really hard to make it a really good team for them. But let's move on. What I can say about the Sharks also too, I reckon that their matchup, their squad are a really good quality squad. They also got Matt Moylan, Chad Townsend, Sean Johnson, Andrew Fafita, Aaron Woods. A lot of these players are really good players, and Chad Townsend is a really experienced player. Obviously, you got Matt Moylan, which he came from the Panthers. Yeah, and obviously he's moved to the Sharks now. And what I can say about it is I'm just going to go with the Sharks by 4 points, and I just think that this game will be a really good matchup for the Sharks. But I'm going to say for the scoreline, I'm going to go with 24 points to 20, and I reckon that this game will be a good win for the Sharks anyway, and I reckon that this game will prove themselves they can win a game of football for the Sharks anyway. Thanks so much for watching my video, guys. Stay tuned for more. I will be doing a couple of videos coming to you guys soon. Also, I'll be doing more videos coming to you guys soon, so stay tuned for more. Plus, leave a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel and for this video, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Till then, take care, guys. Stay safe and have a good one. Plus, let's get up to 150 subscribers. We're sitting on 159. One more to get 150, and I'll definitely do a shout out on YouTube for this lovely thing that we're doing anyway. But I really appreciate all you guys that watch my videos anyway, so stay tuned for more. I'll be doing lots and lots of videos coming to you guys soon, and I really appreciate for you guys that watch my videos anyway. But anyway, guys, take care, guys. Have a good one. But let's get up to 150 subscribers anyway, and don't forget,